members of the Board of Apportionment and Taxation, Board of Aldermen, and residents of the great city of Ansonia. 10 years ago, when I was first elected, I made a pledge to keep taxes stable for the benefit of our homeowners and businesses. Because it's a stable tax rate that keeps Ansonia affordable. It's a stable tax rate that creates an environment where economic development can flourish. And for 10 years, with the help of the Board of Taxation and the Board of Aldermen, we have accomplished that goal. Our mill rate today is actually lower than it was when I first took office. However, this has been a most challenging budget year ever. On a national level, inflation has been devastating, resulting in increases on everything. Our residents have felt this increase from the supermarket to the gas pump, even the cost to keep the lights on in their own home. Ansonia is no different. Utilities are up a whopping 17.5%. Employees' health insurance is up 16.75%. MERS for police has increased by 33.5%. And for city employees by 27.5%. Union wages increases total an additional 11.4%, while the cost of debt service has escalated to 9.5%. And while the state certainly supported our plans and competitive applications for development grant funds, municipal aid has been slashed by $276,000, right when we needed it the most. That's not the whole of the problem. Our partners on the Board of Education are facing new hurdles. The state has changed how grants are distributed to the Board of Educations. The state has decided that Board of Educations will no longer receive a lump sum amount for grants. Now, boards of education must spend their own money before they are reimbursed by the state. As a result of this new state policy, our Board of Education is reliant on the city to ensure our schools have cash flow to keep our district running at the new higher level we have become accustomed to under Superintendent DeBacco and the Board of Education. Additionally, our emergency services have been put to the test. This includes our police department, which has struggled to fill vacant positions in a climate that has made their jobs more difficult and more dangerous. And Ansonia's medical response service, ARMS, has a very real need to transition into a full-time department to guarantee full schedules and the emergency response times that keep our residents safe. I guess you could say, budget-wise, the deck is stacked against us. But I did not run for mayor because it was an easy job. And while we might be dealt a bad hand from the economy and from the state, I still have some aces up my sleeve. These aces are you, our Board of Taxation, and our Board of Aldermen, and our amazing city staff, and most of all, the residents of the great city of Ansonia who we work for. The support you have given to recharge and revitalize our city has given our city the upper hand, even in difficult times like this. Your support has allowed us to make progress that can be harnessed for the good of the people. From the rapidly emerging economic opportunity of Ansonia Copper and Brass to new revenue that can be realized through the regionalization of services such as our WPCA, to the new tax revenue being projected due to the growth of business and investment across our city. And I can report our grand list has exceeded $1.4 billion this year, after breaking the $1 billion threshold last year for the first time in 3 decades. progress gives us the ability to grow our grand list, expand our tax base, and fuel the future of Ansonia. So the budget I am presenting this evening, here's what it will do. First, it will take care of our friends at the Board of Education, our students and teachers and educators. I'm proposing a 5.5% increase to the Board of Education budget, an increase of $1.85 million, a true example of what is possible when the city and the Board of Education work as a team. Next, we need to provide for our emergency services. ARMS is being transitioned to a full-time department, and that will be backed by a 21.5 increase. Fire will receive an additional 9.1% increase, and our police will receive an additional 4.5% increase, allowing them to grow with several newly filled positions. And with respect to our taxpayers, I know it's difficult. I understand that revaluation has pushed home values to an extreme amounts. On one hand, the increase in values is an indication of the success we have accomplished. Ansonia is fast becoming a destination in demand and on the rise. On the other hand, those residents are faced with higher assessments, which would mean higher taxes for some, if the mill rate is not adjusted. However, this year, I need to tell you, holding the line is simply not a reality. In past budgets, keeping a stable mill rate has been a realistic goal. Now, however, with the challenges we face, it's not possible. It's not possible because we owe it to our residents, our businesses, and our future to do better. So, my proposal of the mill rate will be slashed by 11.5 mills, from 37.80 down to 26.24, the lowest the rate has been in over 24 years, at a time when home values are now the highest. The motor vehicle tax rate will be held stable. The impact of the proposal will mean that the average single-family home in Ansonia, assessed at $193,000, will pay $55,072 in taxes this year, or $125 less from last year. Overall, my budget totals $64,475,817. Over the next month, I invite the Board of Apportionment and Taxation, the Board of Aldermen, is the board and the public to review the full proposal, which is being posted online tonight. Deliberations will begin next week, as we have several budget workshops and 2 public hearings already scheduled. I welcome a discussion of my projected expenses and the revenues that allow us to arrive at what I believe is the most responsible and fairest budget for all of Ansonia residents. Thank you, and God bless you, and let's get this done.